Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
I want you, Captain America, to help me rebuild the Avengers.
The Avengers?
Yes, sir.
We are the Thunderbolts!
Can't call ourselves that.
God, thank you.
When I became president, first thing I asked was about the secrets. Aliens. Who killed JFK? You're the only one I really trust. I'd like to talk to you about the future.
Welcome back to another episode of Movie Punditry, folks. I'm happy to be here, joined by our main man, Mr. Mahoney. How are you doing today?
I am good, Mr. Burns. Everything is just peachy.
I wish I could say the same, but let's get right into it. Miss Riri Williams.
Yes, let's get into Miss Riri Williams. So you and I have both watched the short season of Ironheart, and I think we both have thoughts.
Yes, we have thoughts.
So let's begin with your thoughts.
I was completely on the other side of the hate that those first 3 episodes got. I loved it. They did a really good job of, the setting. Really good job of it's Chicago. And it kind of goes back to we were talking about bias, right? I felt like I was watching a black show. And it wasn't like, I feel like it was trying to be a black show. I feel like it was forced. It was just, they followed what a 19, 20-year-old black girl would be doing, the way she talks. The messages it conveyed, I liked it a lot. And I found the characters to be, pretty intriguing. I wanted to know more about them, especially those 2 like underground fighter characters they had. I think the acting was well done. I can't remember the guy that plays her stepfather, but he's on Chicago PD. I'm a big fan. Leroy Hawkins, big fan of his. I think he needs like a couple more breakout roles. So he might be able to get into that. Tate Diggs. I think he can be a definitely at least 2 tiers above Tyrese. He's a good actor. I think he can get himself up there with the right roles. Love that Freddy from a Different World. Cree Summers was in it. Love the Strange Academy Camertage name drops. That was good.
Yeah, that was cool.
Where the story went completely left for me was the ending. Like, I love Ezekiel Stain. I love that he was trying to not be his dad, and he's probably not a villain, right? The acting was really good. It's not that guy's fault that Solo flopped. That was on Disney. That should have been a summer movie. Anthony Ramos did a really good job as the Hood. It all came down to the choice she made at the end to make a deal with Mephisto. To me, it completely went against the character that I saw in Wakanda Forever, that I saw in the first 5 episodes of this show. And it kind of ruined the series for me. Like, you have this girl that's dealing with trauma, and I can see how some people say, well, that's why she did that, because she wanted her friend back. She briefly had her back as an AI that she didn't want and was ready to get rid of because her brother didn't want her around. And then you go and make a deal with a guy that you see what he did to Parker. You see what it was costing him. Doesn't make any sense. Granted, now if I know for a fact we're gonna season 2, be easier to deal with. But with the way Marvel's been lately, I don't know who's a lock, except for maybe Robert Downey Jr. and the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man. Like, who's really a lock to continue with a major role in this thing? whoever's gonna eventually play T'Challa. Like I'm pretty sure we're getting Black Panther 3. But
Probably. And I think they're I don't know if they're trying to spool up like Young Avengers or they're trying to spool up like New Avenger. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
I don't know what they're. I mean, obviously they're gonna hope that like everything they're dropping on us connects, whether it's New Avengers, Young Avengers, Fantastic Four. You know, I think they're gonna try to get whatever they can and see what kind of connects with audiences. Um, I just don't know going forward. Like they don't have like that core team like we had with Avengers. Like they were trying to do one thing, and now it seems like they're trying to do like seven things and see what kind of sticks. And I was thinking that they were going to try to do like a Young Avengers kind of thing, but yeah, you're absolutely right in that last scene just like completely changes the entire tone of the whole series and not in a good way.
not at all. And I don't know. And then there's a part of me that's like, was this the classic, hey, we need to shove some MCU in here? Because it goes back to something you said. This is when you decide to bring this character? Like, the whole...
Yeah, like there were so many options to bring Mephisto in. Like we all thought he was coming in WandaVision.
Yep.
Which would have been a perfect opportunity. And like everybody's freaking out. Like there was like a fly on the wall in one scene, and everybody's like, Mephisto! It's like, no, it's just a fly.
No.
But
it's at a pizza shop in Chicago.
Yeah. Right. It's like, what?
And here's the thing. I'm sorry. If they don't, and they did it to themselves, if they don't tease him up in these other series, I can see this making sense. All right, you're taking advantage of a teenager who has extraordinary potential, and to figure whatever your overall scheme is. But it just, I'm sorry. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, and Mephisto, I mean, I guess it's kind of a parallel for like Peter Parker. I mean, because Mephisto is traditionally a Spider-Man villain. And Peter's kind of a similar circumstance, right? The young guy has extraordinary abilities, is trying to do the right thing. Here's my big problem with the way that they portrayed Riri is like she's like a Tony Stark level genius, and the best thing that she could come up with to make money to build her suit is this. Like, I don't know. It just kind of like, it seems like very tropey. Like, oh, she's selling homework. Oh, she got kicked out of MIT, and now she's hooking up with some bad dudes. And like, you could like, I would think that she'd be able to come up with a better solution. And instead, we kind of go down this road. I actually liked when they brought in like the magic element to it. Because one, yeah, it does connect you to the deeper MCU. I thought that like Kree Summer was a really cool pop in.
Yeah.
I think that like Reagan Aaliyah did a really good job, as Zelma. I like that whole kind of thing. It's like, all right, so we're tapping into the same kind of energy that the wizards are, that the sorcerers are, but we're manifesting it in a different way. I like that kind of idea. Like, it kind of rolls back to me to like the original Thor, where Thor is like, magic and science are the same thing.
So for me, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Well, it's just that, okay, so there's this level of energy that the sorcerers tap into, and we call it magic, but it's really more sciencey, and that somebody else is like kind of tapping into that on their own. I kind of like that.
So for me, I got really excited because, and for some of the audience, if you're not aware, in the Black community, if you're like Southern, in Louisiana, so Haitians have, and I'm not trying to be stereotypical, to kind of have voodoo, but in the South, like in the Louisiana area and Alabama, there are like some country Black folks that have hoodoo. So once that came up, and my sister had texted me, she's like, "Oh, they get into hoodoo," and I'm like, "Sort of, not quite." But for that angle, for me, it got me kind of excited. I was like, "Oh, okay, this kind of speaks to some things that I know," and to try to like make that connection with the MCU was cool for for Black folks. And I don't know whose idea that came from, who that idea came from. That was really cool, and it made me go, I'd be cool with a series of what was the girl's name again?
Zelma.
Cree Summer's daughter.
Zelma.
Yeah. I think, hey, if y'all want to go segue off and do a spinoff into something going on with this, I'm all for it. And the girl was a really good actor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think she did a really good job, and she brought like a bright, fresh, kind of take to it.
I was a little bothered with her getting magic for the suit, but
yeah,
I guess they didn't want to make her like this Stark protege, which was weird. For as much as they talked about him in the show, it seemed like they kept trying to get away from it.
Right.
And I don't know if it's because of like, I wish I was a fly in the wall so I could hear how concerned they are about fan backlash when it comes to these, characters of color who are taking up the mantle of these legacy white characters. Because in the comics, she is a Stark protege. She has a Stark AI. And it seemed like they talked about it, but tried to get away from it.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of that was driven by their fear of this fan backlash. Which I just wish they would just lean into your properties and just trust that you have good storytellers. Because as much as you get this fan backlash, both Black Panthers made a whole lot of money,
Right.
If you make, I just believe if you make good films, you'll get the critical praise and you'll get the financial rewards that you're looking for. Just make good films. And to see that Brave New World and this film are reportedly like, they're doing really good numbers on Disney Plus. It's kind of like, you're doing something right. A lot of people aren't watching it for no reason. So I would just love to know what their thought process is. Because I can see like where they're doing things intentionally to try to shield themselves from the backlash. They're making certain choices.
I agree with that. And you know what? I think that I like when it started, I was kind of going down the same road you were. It was like, why are they trying to separate themselves from Tony? Like, why wouldn't she have a Stark AI like she does in the comics? And I talked to you about this. I didn't like love the Natalie AI character, but I'm going to tell you something. She kind of grew on me.
She did.
And I think a lot of that is just the charisma that Lyric Ross has.
Yeah.
And, she worked it out. And it's kind of like, okay, so I can see this idea of, because Jarvis was kind of in a way an alter ego of Tony. So I could see this idea of Natalie being, an alter ego of Riri and being created out of her memories. And, and like I said, I think Lyric Ross really brought it and made that character work in a way that I was worried that it wouldn't. And so I guess I kind of wound up liking that. I also agree with your point on, Alden Ehrenreich. Like they should have, they kind of did him wrong in this again.
Yes.
Dude needs to stop working for Disney. It's like they kind of try to do this switcheroo where like he was a bad guy, but then they made him more sympathetic, where Hood was starting off as like kind of a folk hero, and then they kind of dragged him down. But I don't think they got there all the way in either case.
I agree.
And I think this show maybe could have benefited from like two more episodes.
That was exactly what I was thinking.
To kind of flesh out the characters a little more.
His turn should have been slower. I get they were trying to condense things. I would have been, say they knew they were getting a season 2, I would have been just fine with him not turning until season 2. Like
right.
Build that friendship.
Parker, you mean?
Oh no, I'm talking about Zeke.
Oh, you're talking about Joe?
Yes,
or Zeke or whatever.
I would have loved to see where there was an actual friendship.
No, oh, absolutely, absolutely. Or like the end of episode 8 or something. It's just like, yeah, no, definitely. That's what I'm saying. Like they didn't really have time to develop these characters out the way that I think they deserve to be developed out.
Yeah, it's just weird because they're in this tricky spot where they need these properties to be successful. And I don't know if they're putting them in the best position to be successful. And I think about what James Gunn said, and he was like, talking about how he feels bad for Feige because it's, Disney corporate that had given him that mandate to put out more content. And then now that the content's not as good, you're on his behind about it. And the guy's kind of in a no-win situation, which makes, them hitting the Stark in case of emergency even more like, it's just like, dang. I mean, I guess we can kind of use this to segue into Superman seems to be getting glowing reviews.
Superman, for the most part, is getting glowing reviews. I've seen a couple of dings on it. But for the most part, yeah, I think it seems to be doing really well. Here's the caveat to that, though. Is, it's only been in screenings. It's only been critics. And the one review I did hear from someone that I really usually connect with their reviews is that this movie is very immersed in the lore, and it's really a movie for Superman fans. It kind of starts in the middle of things. Superman's been around for a couple of years. He's already got his relationship with Lois. He's already, there's a backstory that between Perry and Lex that's already happened. And so people coming into it clean without being super familiar with like any of the backstory may have a difficult time with it.
I'm fine with that.
That makes sense.
Because we got Justice League in 2017. Man of Steel was, let me see, 2013.
Right. But this is not in that continuity.
It isn't, but I go back to what James Gunn said. He's like, we don't need another Batman origin story.
And you know what? I'm okay with that. But if you're gonna tweak things a little bit, then you need to kind of give us the tweak, And I don't want to necessarily come out with and say like a couple of things that I've heard, but I just and look, I am looking forward to seeing it. I can't wait to go see it, and I'm sure I'm going to love it, because I really want to love it. I just, I would just take like the super glowy reviews with a grain of salt right now because they have a very friendly audience.
Mhm. I'm okay with dropping people right in. The other thing too is like we just had a series on the CW that was what I think 3 or 4 seasons long.
Yeah.
Like same with I think like with Batman, like parents killed in the alley, billionaire. Like everybody's got the gist. I think same thing with Superman. I mean,
Yeah, and you know what? It worked with Spider-Man.
yeah,
You know, with Homecoming.
yep,
Like, yeah, we already have a working Spider-Man. You know, we don't need to see Uncle Ben die again.
yeah.
I get it. You know, and the twist of, you know, MJ and whoever the other girl was and stuff like that. We're all trying to figure out who everybody was. You know, at the end of the day, it kind of worked out. So I'm not bad mouthing at all. It's just that's like the one thing that I would just kind of hold out, be like, I really want to, like, I need to see this, and before I really kind of make a judgment call, I'm not gonna. I don't want to go into it and be like, oh man, it's like the best thing since sliced bread, best Superman movie ever,
So I've
and then be
stayed away
disappointed
from
with it.
pretty much every review I've seen. Just like little like couple. Somebody put up a page of like a screenshot of different sentences, people praising it. One guy just trust game over Greggy said this is the Superman film I've been waiting for my entire life. I'll probably be there Friday as soon as work is done. And I haven't, prior to seeing Jurassic World Rebirth in the theater, I can't remember the last time I was in a movie theater. Oh, Brave New World. Before that, I don't know. And I've sitting in the theater for Rebirth pretty much reinforced I am not going to the movie theaters. Unless I think you'll get me in there for Fantastic Four. I don't know. You probably won't get me in there until the next like huge Marvel release. I'm all set on movie theaters. To me, it's not worth it. Like I get wanting to see it on a huge screen and a great premium sound. I just don't want to be that close to people in a dark room anymore. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I've seen in the theater this year. I mean, Brave New World, obviously. Thunderbolts, I saw in the theater. The Accountant 2, I saw in the theater. I think that's it.
Like, or maybe I probably just got to go back to waiting 2 weeks after the movie's done and go on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, especially
But
now
other
that
than
AMC's doing half price on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, like I'm gonna have to go at like 9 in the morning. I'm not catching me like opening day 7 o'clock. Absolutely not. Because Rebirth, it was packed and it was horrible. And the entire time I'm like, this movie's bad. I feel bad that my wife paid for this. This movie is awful. And I can't remember the last time I sat in a movie theater and thought that a film was awful. Even Batman versus Superman was at least like visually stunning, so I could be in awe of something. This was awful. And then my son was just sitting there. He was in love with it. And I'm like, oh.
It was made for him. Not made for you.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Because he went out the next day and he bought that appropriately named Disastersaurus Rex.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am really looking forward.
They made $300 million this opening weekend, you know? People are not tired of dinosaurs.
They need to tell Gareth Edwards that. But yeah, I'm really excited for Superman. One thing though, they gotta stop making him pale. Why is he so pale?
Who?
Superman.
I guess, yeah.
Like he look for a guy that has to be in the sun to get energized. He is ghostly white. Him, Cavill, Roth, just pale. Like the only one that got some sun was the guy from Smallville. Are you gonna go opening day or just
No,
Saturday?
we're probably gonna go probably Saturday or Sunday.
Okay. You want to talk about AI?
A little bit. I mean, we don't have a ton of time, but
I don't know. I can do the next segment.
yeah, okay.
Hey, I got this. This has brought my energy back.
So, all right, that's good. Then I'm gonna actually send you something to look at while we break.
Over the break.
Yeah,
I feel like we're on WFAN.
because it's. Hey, Mikey, I need you to look at something for me, Mikey. I got so I found this. So I thought about this interesting story, and I've been thinking a lot about like the use of AI in filmmaking and stuff, and so. And I know that like the unions are all scared about it, the actors are all scared about it. And then are you familiar with this like Star Wars Fortnite thing that happened a couple
The
of months
Vader
ago?
saying some wild stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit.
All right. So basically they did a Fortnite, did a Star Wars patch in Fortnite, and one of the characters was Darth Vader. And beside the fact that you can make Vader say wacky stuff, it's actually James Earl Jones's voice, and it's AI generated.
Oh, that's not going to end well.
So he had signed an agreement with Lucasfilm, saying yes, you can do this, and there's technology that that the studios have where they can not only record voices, but they can go back into your existing like film catalog and use that to teach an AI how to speak. And so for instance, they did that with Val Kilmer. Actually did it for Top Gun Maverick, but then they decided not to use it at the last minute, and he actually wound up recording his line, and then they just kind of digitally enhanced what he was saying on the set. But that was a performative choice. He was prepared to do this. So James Earl Jones had given permission to Disney to do this so that they can continue to use his Darth Vader voice, kind of in perpetuity.
I think Al Michaels has agreed to do the same thing for the Olympics.
And so part of what I want to talk about is how actors can leverage this. So they licensed it to Fortnite, and who's that? Epic Games, right?
Yep.
So they licensed this to Fortnite, to Epic Games, and they make this thing. James Earl Jones' estate had signed off on it. The talentless relatives said, okay, write us a check, and everybody's happy, except for SAG. So the union has thrown its 2 cents in, and they have actually filed a grievance against Epic Games over this. And their position in it, and I thought I didn't see this coming. Their position in it was like, well, that's fine that he had signed this agreement with Disney to allow Disney to license out this technology, but we should still be able to negotiate for this. And especially when it comes to the fact that you could have just hired a human actor, and our job is to protect our working actors. And I got to say, I think that maybe they got a point.
Mike Connors, he's dead.
Right.
And this is what he wanted. I mean, he's dead. He's not a union member anymore.
Well, true. And the people benefiting from him are not him, but his estate.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there are working actors out there who need jobs. And, at what point do we draw the line and say, okay, enough is enough with this? And I don't have the answer to that question. I'm just saying, so imagine, they decide that, a particular actor can't do the work anymore, and but we have a digital version of him, and we're just going to pop him into movies in perpetuity. And now we don't have to hire new actors to do this. At what point are we kind of being a detriment to the industry and to people coming up in the industry? You know what I'm saying?
I think this is a very special case. I think the fact that he's dead, and Lucas and Disney want to preserve him as the voice of Vader. I think this makes it a very special and hopefully an isolated case. I can see like the other situation you laid out, like, say something happens to a working actor and they choose to go this route.
Right.
I think then there's more of a leg to stand on. But I think in this case.
So here's the thing. I don't think this case is all that special.
Okay, why?
Well, think about it. Think about what Star Wars has done, right? Think about Rogue One and Peter Cushing. Think about The Last Jedi and, or not The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker and Carrie Fisher. Think about these things. I tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. We'll take our break. I'm going to send you a link to something I want you to watch.
Okay.
All right. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Watch 4 or 5 minutes of it, 3 minutes of it, just to get a feel for it. And then when we come back, I want to walk you through it and why it's really relevant to this.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back. All right.
So you remember that movie WALL-E?
WALL-E, yeah.
When everybody got fat because the robots were doing the job. Cue it on up.
All right.
Cue it on up.
So the thing that I sent Rendell that we're talking about is a short film called 765874 Unification. It's done by a company called Otoy in accordance with the Roddenberry Archive, which is like Gene Roddenberry's estate, basically run by his son. And so that was not completely AI. That was an actual performance. So the actor who plays Kirk in that is Sam Witwer, who he was in Battlestar Galactica. He was the body actor in The Force Unleashed, who played Starkiller. Okay. He does the voice of Maul in the Clone Wars and Rebels and the Solo movie. And so he's the actual actor. And so what they use in this is they call it digital makeup. Basically, they put some prosthetics on and then they enhance it with digital. So the reason I find it interesting is because what Otoy's vision of this is that like an actor. So like William Shatner participated in this. He's there's none of him on the screen, but he participated in it as a producer, and he allowed himself to be scanned. So what Otoy's vision of this is, and I thought it was kind of interesting. I listened to Sam on a podcast talking about it, is that an actor can have themselves scanned and digitized, and then say they wind up doing a project and the producers are like, well, we want to do a face replacement to a stunt person, or we want to de-age you, or we want to do a scene which is be too dangerous for you, or we want to have you in a movie that you're sick but we still want to have you in a movie, kind of things. So the actor can have themselves digitized, and then they own that data. So when that project comes up, instead of going there and spending days getting scanned specifically for that project, they just bring the hard drive in and go, here's my data. I will license it to you for this project.
Westworld.
What's that? Yeah.
It's turned into Westworld.
Right. I will license you this data for this project. It's good for the actor because they get paid for it. And they retain ownership of it. It's good for the studio because it's cheaper than generating that data themselves. All they have to do is pay the actor a licensing fee, and then they take that data and put it into whatever their tools are that they're going to use. I thought it was kind of an interesting point of view, but now comes this other side of it we were talking about before, where the union is going, hold on a second, you could just hire another actor. This is a little bit different because they did hire an actor. And if you watched it through the end, they hired an actor to do Spock as well. And listening to Sam talk about his performance, like he really took that performance very seriously. He studied, a lot of footage, including unseen footage, alternate takes, and everything in order to get the performance perfect. But, I could see a world where they just go and they just animate it off the data. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just like, how far is too far with it?
We're human beings. We're going to push this way farther than it has any business going, and something bad is going to happen. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. This is going to go somewhere it has no business going.
I mean, already we're doing things like, artists are like, you can, there's stuff where you can go and you can sing into your computer, and a computer uses AI to make you have a beautiful voice, So,
have I sent you any of my 8-second clips from Vale?
What's that?
Have I sent you any of my 8-second clips from Vale?
No. Are you doing this?
I upgraded to that tier,
right?
And with Google Gemini to create your own videos. Okay. Yeah, there's a few, like I showed my wife and she was like, I thought that was real people. Like I made one of a Eagles fan walking down the street in Times Square, and he looks up and he just screams, "I can't believe we lost to the Packers." Can't tell it's fake. Like if me and you, because we've seen a lot of AI videos, there's like 2 or 3 things that stick out. Outside of that, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah, if you look at so I've spent a lot of time looking at this, and so I'm fairly discerning when it comes to this. Because you could tell, right? There's a little uncanniness about it.
Yes, but
for the most, other than the obviously bad stuff with 7 fingers or hands on your feet, kind of thing, or badly misspelled words or whatever. But some of the good stuff is really difficult to tell. Like if you had watched this unification film and you had never seen Star Trek before, and you didn't know who William Shatner was, maybe you get fooled by that, or maybe you get fooled by, you know what I'm saying? It's like, because it's pretty good. It's kind of beyond a deep fake.
The other thing is, we're not that far off from where it's going to be that none of us can tell, right? Like, so have you heard the stories about the AIs that they're telling like, hey, we have to delete you, and they start bartering and trying to bargain for their existence. One tried to blackmail a guy because they had fed it like false information of him cheating on his wife. But like, we've seen the movies. We see how this is going to end. Like, this is going to be Terminator. There's no way we don't get there.
Yeah. When does Skynet go live?
Like, everybody's like, oh, we can create cool videos. At what cost? Like, the amount of energy this thing takes. Like, I think I made 4 videos in one day.
Right.
and I got a warning like you reach your limit. It takes too much resources to do this, and I'm like, if I'm doing this from 4 videos, what about the people that have the unlimited tier?
Right.
Like these not factories, but these power plants they have to build to sustain this thing.
So this is the other side of it, right? So there is so thank you for reminding me of that. So Disney and Universal have now gotten together and they've sued Midjourney. So Midjourney is, an AI engine where you can make images. And if you want to make, Darth Vader riding a dirt bike, you can, so to speak.
I'm pretty sure someone's made words.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm trying to be polite here. And, so Disney and Universal are coming in and going, well, wait a minute. Like, these are indistinguishable from the actual content. And Midjourney, like the other AI engines, are kind of doing this dance about like, well, we just use stuff that's on the internet, but we don't actually copy it. We make our own copy of it, and then we train our AI engine off that copy of it. And it's like, yeah, but this is literally indistinguishable from our IP. Mm-hmm. And in some cases, so Disney, I don't know if you know this or not, but so Disney like has these things called hidden Mickeys.
No, what's that?
So what a hidden Mickey is basically they put like Mickey Mouse, the Mickey Mouse symbol everywhere. And including in a lot of like their official images. So like you'll have an image of like Moana and like somewhere in like the fabric of her dress or something like that, there'll be a Mickey head.
It's interesting.
Smart. It's almost like a watermark. So these Midjourney images are reproducing the hidden Mickeys.
Oh.
So at what point does it just become we're just copying your IP? And the worst part is they're selling access to the service. So and they're also enabling even if, and this is part of the lawsuit, like even if Midjourney itself is not infringing on what they're doing, they are enabling third parties to infringe, right?
Like when Xbox or Sony sue emulator companies.
Right. So, now that if I go and I make an image of Darth Vader riding a dirt bike, and then I take that and I put that in something and disseminate that publicly on a website or in a book or whatever. So now I'm infringing, and Midjourney has allowed me to infringe.
Yep.
So this is going to be watching this case is going to be really interesting because there's a lot of questions that and the law is always the law always lags behind technology. And it's going to be interesting watching to see what really happens here. So you have Disney, who is like a leader in using AI for stuff, but yet they're suing against the use of AI.
Gotta protect your IP, man.
You have to protect your IPs, but at what point? Where's the line there? It's really kind of a fascinating thing, I think.
This is all bad.
It is all bad.
All bad. It's not going to end well.
Right.
All because people want to make things easier than they need to be. I love my Google Home, but I can flick the light switch on. I shouldn't be this lazy.
Yeah. And look, AI definitely has its purposes, right? And it's a matter of where it takes repetitive tasks, it could do them really, really quickly. and really, really accurately. So
Keep talking. Give me a second.
yeah. So for instance, you have AI artists who are creating, a scene in a movie. There's a lot of really nitpicking, redundant work involved in that AI can very easily do and free up the artist to be more creative,
Okay.
right? So
You got your phone in your hand?
what's that?
Oh no, you keep going and then let me know when you got your phone in your hand.
I have my phone in my hand. Okay.
Yep.
So like for instance, if I'm a digital artist and I'm creating a big crowd scene at a coliseum or something like that, like I have to hand animate every one of those 15,000 people. Like AI can do that. I don't need to do that, you know? And then I can spend my time just being more creative with how I do things. I think that's a good use of AI. And I have friends of mine who are AI artists who have made that case, and I think that's really good. But the downside of it is like all those AI is being trained off other people's existing work. So if I sit there and say, okay, draw a picture of the Avengers in the style of Picasso, well, they have to know what the Avengers look like, and they have to know how Picasso paints, and so they have to train that AI to learn all of that stuff on existing IP, and then they spit out this new thing. And then what do I do with it? Maybe an infringing use on those characters. So it's all just very murky. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I have my phone.
Scroll to the left where you're like that page is at that shows all your interests and stuff.
Okay.
Do you see a made for you daily listen in top right top left corner?
No.
I gotta figure out. All right. So every day I get basically a podcast based off my interest.
Okay.
It's an AI podcast. You can't tell it's fake. It has the ums, the uhs, the pauses, chuckles. It's crazy.
Oh, I've played with that stuff. I've played with that stuff. Like I can sit there and I can write a script, and you would not know it wasn't a person reading it.
Yeah, and I've been getting that. So did you upgrade to the newest Android edition?
Yeah.
I've been getting that every day since then.
Really, I don't have that. Maybe I just have something I don't have turned on.
Yeah, it's called Daily Listen. And at first I didn't like it, but now it's kind of cool. Like a lot of these things I'd have to scroll through and read, it's there in a podcast.
What's it called? A daily list?
Daily Listen. Let me see.
I guess I gotta. I have to opt into it and Google it. Okay, I'll take a look at that.
Yeah. At first I was like, I don't know if I like this, because then I'm like, damn, Google knows me this well.
Oh,
Google
knows everything about you, bro.
Yeah. And I thought about it, like, damn, I've been with these pixels since the first one. They've got way too much access to my life. But then I joke with my sister, well, she's like, look, Apple knows everything about me. You pick a billionaire company and you just give them all your info.
Oh yeah. It's like creepy almost. Like, you sit there, you be not even on your phone, you just be having a conversation. Have a conversation with your wife. You're like, oh, maybe we should get a new blender or something, And then all of a sudden you're getting fed ads for blenders.
Bunch of ninja sales
like,
and
wait a minute.
Ninjas on Prime.
Your phone's always, I switched over from the Google Assistant to the AI. And so like obviously my phone's always listening to me because I could just say, "Hey Google," and the phone it just woke up.
Yep.
So it's I know it's listening for wake words, like Alexa is. What else are they listening to?
Oh yeah, like I got one the other day, and it was like, "Hey, I remember you overseeded last year, and these are the things that you bought. They're about to go on sale again." And I'm like, "Nah, that's pretty intrusive." But then the flip side of it was like, it asked me, it was like, "How did the lawn come out, or what are we going to seed with this year?" And I'm just like, "Jeez, oh man, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well at all." Daredevil.
Yeah.
We never discussed again. Thank God they rebooted this thing and just made it a continuation of the Netflix series. Because I don't know what they were gonna come out with, but it wouldn't have been as good as this. John Bernthal, absolutely fantastic. Like, he is the Punisher.
Bernthal is great. Bernthal, he's great in the accountant, especially in the second one. He's great in this. Like, Bernthal is firing on all cylinders right now.
Did you see the trailer for the Odyssey?
Yes.
That man is about to cast himself into that top tier. Yeah. He's phenomenal. And that's one thing is, Marvel's been pretty rocky lately. They're still the best when it comes to casting. Still the best when it comes to casting. And just phenomenal. Yeah. Gandolfini's kid, phenomenal. I like how season 1 ended, because it's a continuation of the Netflix series, but the ending almost like resets everything.
Right.
And like, it kind of gave me that Spider-Man feeling, like how they reset everything. Like, it was just really, really well done.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it was at the end of it, like we were talking about with Ironheart. Make Parker turn at the end. We get to the end of this, and Fisk is like, "No, I'm going to be Kingpin." Even though you knew it was, though you knew it was coming, there was no way it wasn't coming.
And the way he did it, like the way he had Vanessa prove how loyal she was to him, and Matt,
right? And so you spend this whole series really back to Daredevil and through Echo and Hawkeye, like thinking that like Vanessa has got one over on him, or she's his weak spot or whatever. No.
He's always in charge. He's always ahead of the game. And it kind of felt like Matt accepted, like, I'm not a full-on killer, but I accept that I like beating people up. And this is me. Like, this is my life.
Yeah, this is who I am, and I'm going to lean into it.
Yeah. Now. Yep. I'm interested to see if we get well, first off, if the reports are true that we're going to get Punisher in the Spider-Man film, would we then get season 2 before we get the Spider-Man movie?
I don't know.
Because that's going to be a tough mesh to get those two characters in the same space. Because neither he nor Cox had a chair at that chair reveal thing, right?
No.
And I'm surprised that they didn't. Like, I don't want them to be kept away from the rest of the universe anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I know Sir Charlie in the Spider-Man movie, but
that's true.
But still, I'd like it. Yeah, I'd like them to be more involved as these characters and stuff. But how do you? I don't think the problem is necessarily Frank or Matt. I think the problem in the larger MCU is Wilson Fisk. Like, how do you explain him in terms of the MCU?
Yeah, like he's the mayor of New York
Yeah.
now. And
And
there's
why
Avengers
is nobody
Tower.
dealing with that?
Yeah, and the guy already has an anti-vigilante thing going on, and you're essentially gonna have the Fantastic Four just chilling in New York.
Right. Well, I mean,
And
they're chilling in New York in the 1960s, so.
I mean, they're gonna get to our New York.
That's true.
Well,
They're a completely different universe, yeah.
Yeah. It was so well done. Acting was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And then I think we're gonna get Cage and Jessica Jones. Don't know if we're gonna get, because I saw he put up a picture with whoever that guy was, played Danny Rand.
Oh,
And they're in New York, and it was about the time that season 2 was shooting,
right.
Which would kind of make sense when Matt said he needed an army.
Yeah. So they're gonna bring like the Defenders back.
They've just got to find a way to make Michael Coulter a lot less corny.
Yeah. Look, I'm just gonna say it. He's not that good an actor.
No, he's not. He's not.
I mean, I'm sorry, but he's not that good an actor. I was just watching another movie. I think it was a movie with him in it. The movie's called Plane.
That Gerard Butler
film. And Coulter's in it. He's just not good.
It's crazy because the best parts of both seasons are Mahershala in season 1, and then a guy playing I can't remember his name. The Jamaican character. Can't remember his name, but basically his villains were so much more captivating and interesting than he was. Like, he was at least somewhat interesting in season 1. Season 2 was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. It just completely overshadowed everywhere he turned. So, I recast him for all I care.
Yeah.
Where's like promo?
I mean, then look, Iron Fist wasn't great either, but
at least he can
I've
act.
seen Finn Jones and stuff, and he can act.
And you know what, too? Do you remember the episode he showed up in season 2?
Yeah.
If you give me that version of him, it works just fine. Works just fine.
Right.
Less uptight, way more carefree. You're Danny Rand, you got a bunch of money, and you got a fist that glows.
Yeah. And you can punch people really hard.
Yeah. Like, be that version of Iron Fist.
Yeah. I don't need all your trauma and your depression and all that stuff.
Absolutely
I just
not.
need you to punch people really hard.
Yeah. I got enough of that from the other 3 characters.
Yeah. Kristen Ritter can pull it off. John Bernthal can pull it off. I'll take my pathos from those 2.
Yep. You just enjoy your money, rich kid. Anything else before we skedaddle?
Not really. Are you watching anything new? You see anything?
I just started Smoke on Apple TV Plus, and again, I always say this. I think they're starting to eat HBO's lunch in the prestige TV, man. Yeah. It's got Taron Egerton, I think that's his name.
Okay.
Egerton?
Yeah. The guy from like the Kingsman show.
Yep. And then Journey Smollett. So she plays a detective who's pretty much being sent to investigate serial arsonists. It's kind of like you've pissed off the wrong person at the force, so now this is your job. And he is the arson investigator, and he hasn't closed a case in 2 years. Acting's great. Cinematography's great. Don't want to give the twist away, but it's really good. Really, really good. So that's what I've been watching. And I started Murderbot as well.
Okay.
I stopped at episode 3 because it did something that I expected it to do, and I was like, if they go where I think they're going to go, turn this off. And they did it, so I turned it off. The acting's good. Was it Skarsgård, or he's the son of that guy from I think he's the son of the guy from Andor.
Oh, Skarsgård?
Yeah.
Which one, Bill?
Which
show are we talking about? Smoke?
We're talking about Murderbot.
Oh, Murderbot.
Yeah. Acting's great. Just a couple story choices that.
Oh yeah. Oh, Alexander Skarsgård. Yeah. Yeah, he's good. Yep. Oh, David Dasmalkian, he's good. I like him and stuff. He's weird.
Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Have you seen the casting so far for this Street Fighter movie?
I've seen some of it, yes.
So, Street Fighter is my favorite video game series of all time. The original movie was absolutely horrendous. And I'm questioning what the tone of this is going to be from the casting. So far, we've got, let me see.
We've got Alan Ritchson from Reacher.
So who is he playing?
I don't know who he's playing. I just know who's in it.
Andrew Koji playing Ryu. Okay, I'll take that. Noah Centino playing Ken. I don't know who this guy is. Kalina Lang is Chung Li. Never heard of her. David Dasmalkian plays M. Bison.
Yeah. So David Dasmalkian, who's in Murderbot, who's in, been in Suicide Squad movies, been in Ant-Man, Dune.
Now he's a good actor. Yeah. M. Bison is jacked. Absolutely jacked.
I don't know.
Cody Rhodes is playing Guile.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa playing Blanca.
Why do they keep?
I guess.
Why do they keep? They keep putting these wrestlers in these movies. Roman Reigns is in this thing. What's his name? Nathan Jones, the Australian guy?
Well, he hasn't wrestled in years, and he's gone into like stunt work.
Yeah, and he's been in some good stuff. He's in Mad Max and stuff. My boy Winston Duke. Always take him.
That's what made me think this might be okay. That's when I was like, all right, maybe this will work.
But then it's like Andrew Shaw. But then it's like 50 Cent. Like, really?
Yes. And then that's when I'm just like, Mario Brothers worked because they stuck to the source material. Yeah. Sonic worked because first people shamed them into redesigning the character to make it look like he looked from the game. Right. But they stuck to the source material for the most part. What are we doing with this casting? Like, it's upsetting. It's I don't know. Upsetting.
I gotta see. We gotta see more of it. We gotta see. We don't even know what the tone of it is. So, just a bunch of casting. I know we gotta see. What it's gonna look like, what the tone's gonna look like.
Roman Reigns has done one film, and he barely talked.
Maybe he barely talks in this. I don't know. Is Akuma a big fighter, a big talker?
He's a huge part. He's not a big talker, but he's like a really important character. He's the brother of the guy who taught Ken and Ryu, and like even bigger antagonist than M. Bison is later on in the series. And it's just, I'm getting original Super Mario Brothers film by Dennis Hopper.
Or the 94 Street Fighter.
God rest his soul, was it the guy that played M. Bison from Family Adams guy? Raul Julia.
Oh yeah, Raul Julia was awesome in that movie though.
He was fine. Jean-Claude Van Damme, on the other hand, what have you been watching?
So I've been watching movies. Really, I watched a few like good finds on like I've been digging through like Tubi and Canopy and Plex lately.
Oh wow!
I've been mining that stuff. So I found a couple of really good ones. I found a movie called Sunshine. It's a sci-fi movie from 2007, um, directed by Danny Boyle. It's really good. It's like Cillian Murphy, Chris Evans, Michelle Yeoh, Cliff Curtis, Hiroyuki Sanada, Benedict Wong. I mean, it's a really good like claustrophobic sci-fi movie, which is the kind that I really like. Um, I watched Black Bag, which is a new movie. Like a spy film. Michael Fassbender, Kate Blanchett, really good.
Good actors.
Yeah. Um, then I watched another old movie called The Company Men, which is like a 2008 Tommy Lee Jones, Ben Affleck. It's about like these guys in a big company that get laid off, and then it's like them dealing with it and coping with it. It's actually really good. Um, and then, okay, I don't remember if you asked me this or not, but talking about wrestlers in movies, my wife and I just watched Heads of State. Have you watched this?
With John Cena and
Yeah.
Idris? No, how was it?
You know what? It's better than it has any right to be. It's not
How's John
great.
Cena?
My expectations are very low, but Cena's really good in it.
I think he's found his niche in that like comedy,
Goofy comedy,
yeah.
kind of thing. He's not bad at it. And he's great in the press tour. Like the stuff he's doing, like in the press tour, is on YouTube is absolutely hysterical. But
I think when it's
go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I think when it's all said and done, it's going to be Batista, Cena, Skip, Hogan, and then The Rock in terms of acting ability.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. This Mark Kerr movie may move Rock a spot up.
Yeah. Well, I think out of those guys that you just mentioned, I mean, I think Batista is the actor.
Oh yeah, he's a thespian at this point.
And right. And, Johnson he's the movie star. But see,
I mean, is he anymore?
maybe. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he's peaked.
I think he's peaked. I definitely think. I got a feeling if this Mark Kerr movie doesn't get him the critical acclaim that he's looking for, I think it might be a wrap. I mean, I think he'll still make some movies, but I don't think he's going to be trying to as much as he.
Well, I think he's gonna.
I
think he's gonna be like, B-listing and doing direct-to-videos, Hulu movies stuff. He'll still work. But I mean, hell, Steven Seagal's working, but he's not going to be. If he can't open a film and he can't really bring anything to it.
That Black Adam really did a number on him.
It did not help him at all. And Black Adam, Jungle Cruise, like he had a string of them that were really questionable.
And then the politicking behind the scenes. The hierarchy of the DC universe is about to change. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. It's like, he's a little self-important for himself in a lot of ways.
Yeah, this whole XFL thing isn't working out either.
That
he tried to revive the XFL.
Yeah.
That failed. They merged with another spring football league. That looks like it's a failure. I mean, he's got some things working like that tequila he's got, but his main goal was to be a movie star, and he's just, I don't know, just.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't had. I mean, honestly, I'm looking back through his filmography, like his last bunch of movies. I mean, Red One, Fast X, which he was barely in, Black Adam, Red Notice, Free Guy, he was barely in, Jungle Cruise, Jumanji: The Next Level, Hobbs and Shaw. I mean,
That's a bad list.
yeah. I mean, like, what was his last really good movie? Like, probably the first Jumanji? Fate of the Furious, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
you're back in like you're 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's a wrap for him.
I mean, if Moana doesn't really, like you said, the Smashing Machine and Moana, if they don't really hit it, then I don't know where he's going.
Folks, thank you for listening. We jumped all over the place,
did.
but it was good to be here. And we will see you, I think, fairly soon because we're going to want to talk about
We are
Superman.
definitely going to want to talk about Superman. And
Have
then
a
we
good
got
one.
Fantastic Four in a couple weeks, so we're going to be busy.
Yeah, so you'll see us probably at least twice in July. Peace.